As promised, today we will be learning new material. I want you guys to take a look at this word bank right here. We have the words factors, base, and exponent. And looking more towards in the middle here at a and this 4, this is read as a to the power of 4. So why don't we go ahead and write that down actually. So this is read as a, oh my goodness. Miss Lopez is still learning how to write. So a to the power of 4. Okay, so the 4 is actually what we call our exponent. So let's go ahead and write the word exponent right here. And then I'm going to cross it off in my word bank because I already used it. The a here is what we call our base. And once again, I'm going to cross off base. So a to the power of 4 is the same or equivalent. So we know equivalent means the same as a times a times a times a. So these a's are what we call our factors. So right here, I'm going to write the word factors. Now moving on to the next thing. It says, explain in your own words why a times a times a times a can also be written as a to the power of 4. Well, a to the power of 4 is the same as a times a times a times a. So notice how the exponent tells you how many times you're going to multiply the base. So here I have 4, so I'm going to write out a times a times a times a 4 times. Okay, let's go ahead and move on. In powers, the only operation used is, so here when we talked about a to the power of 4, what operation did we use? Addition, subtraction, multiplication, or division? Well, the dot represents multiplication, so we used multiplication. Once again, multiplication. Okay, so things that are multiplied together. So if we look back at our, up here in our notes, a times a times a, these are things that are being multiplied together, and we call these factors. So our answer for this one is factors. Now let's go on to number 3. In the expression x times x times x, the x is called a. Well, the a was called a factor, so the x must also be called a factor. Looking at question 4, in the expression 5 times 5 times 5, the 5 is called a, you guessed it, a factor. So now, what are factors? So we just learned that a factor could be a variable, meaning a letter, or number multiplied together. Okay, so moving on to question number 6. With factors, what operation should we be thinking about? Well, the only operation we've ever talked about right now is multiplication.